Washington Wizards, who are playing some decent basketball right now. Kevin Durant has been Kevin Durant this season. Let's just put it that way. Kristaps Porzingis, with the new bearded look, he's been pretty good.
Yeah, he has played well. And love to see that he's healthy, GA, and getting a chance, he's just moving better.
And how about this from KD? I mean, this broke the internet.
Oh, man.
Wait, let me watch this again.
Oh.
Daniel Gafford
Wait,
is
then he
never.
stayed
Yeah,
down.
you got to get up real quick. You got to get up.
Yeah, he's not going to live that one down. That was incredible from Kevin Durant. Bradley Beal hitting the transition three. He had 20 points in the game. Then it's KD. Time winding down in the second. Knocks that down. Brooklyn up 69-57 at the break. And GA, he just kept on coming.
Yeah, I mean, this guy so efficient, and it's scary when he gets into a rhythm in terms of scoring the basketball. Nobody does it better.
28 points, 11 boards, 9 assists. Nick Claxton inside, shooting a high percentage as he's been doing all year.
For me, for the Nets, it was a 32 assists. That is huge. I haven't seen numbers like that in a long time from them. They shared it.
9 of those 32 coming from Kevin Durant, who was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Here is post-game.
I mean, KD, you had 7 guys in double figures. I mean, everything was going for you guys. Describe the team effort it took to get this win.
Yeah, man, we didn't shoot around. We had some good sets. We drew up, and we knew some of that stuff would work against this team, so we just continued to move the basketball all night. Everybody touched it. Everybody got to the paint and was able to generate some good offense, and that's how we want to play moving forward.
And when it comes to generating good offense, I got your right stats tonight. 28 points, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. When you can move the ball like that, how lethal can this team be?
I mean, that's the name of the game is, playing off of each other and being able to complement one another, and I think tonight on both ends of the floor, we did a great job.
And I got to ask you about that first quarter move. You hit a guy with the splits. Everybody wants a name for that move. How would you just describe it?
I really thought he slipped on some sweat there, so I can't take full credit for it, but I was glad that we was able to get some momentum. I was able to get some space to do my thing, and I'm glad I finished the shot too.
KD was being nice there.
Yeah, you know what? Can I say something to Bill and
yeah.
Greg? And Greg knows this. When you're smiling and playing a game of basketball, it's just totally different, ain't it? And I know he was talking about the move, but I hadn't seen the joy from the Brooklyn Nets from a lot of players in a long time. Just like Russell Westbrook the other day, he was smiling, having a good time. I think, we play in a professional game, but you got to have some joy in playing this game. If you don't have any joy, it becomes like a math test you didn't study for. And I think right now it was good to see KD smiling.
No, I agree. I think it's almost like the cloud's been lifted, for them. Probably the first time in a long time they just thought about basketball. And sometimes that's what you need. I mean, there's been so much drama in Brooklyn over the last 2 seasons. Like, we talked a lot about what's going on in L.A. I don't think anything compares to what we've seen transpire. I mean, it's hard to imagine. James Harden actually played there.
Right.
It feels like a long
Like he had
time
a cup of
ago.
coffee there. They basically salvaged their, gave away the franchise to get him, and then he's gone in the offseason. Like, there's been so much going on. You've had a coach fired. You got a player suspended. They got a lot of drama going on right now in Brooklyn. So this has got to just feel good for tonight, at least, to not think about anything and enjoy the fact that they played a high-level game.
You mentioned the 32 assists. That's a season high for them. I said KD had 9, he had 11. Again, I'm thinking about fried chicken here. But is this the way they have to play to be successful, especially with Kyrie out? KD's going to get his, but they still got to zip that ball around, get other guys.
Anytime, no matter what, you're in the NBA and you have 7 guys in double figures. You're not going to usually have that. That's something that won't be a rarity. But I think if they can control their turnovers, any team, great teams, bad teams, if you get more possessions and get solid possessions, sometimes a missed shot is even okay. At least you can get back and set your defense, right, GA? But when you're turning it over, and I think sometimes if I'm not one of the 1, 2, 3, 4 options, and I just got to stand there, GA, and wait for you to dribble, and then, hey, GA, 2 seconds, 1 second on the clock and give it to me. The ball gives you energy, and I don't think right now the ball was moving around 32 assists.
Yeah, how about they had a 55-50-100 game. 55 from the field, 50 from 3, 100 from the free throw line, and they only turned it over 7 times. So, like, that, to me, that's like a zone game. Their entire team was in the zone, and they're in that zone, to Smitty's point, because they're playing for one another. Ball's moving. There's not a ton of dribbling going on. There's not a lot of stagnation. I don't know that they could play it. I don't think that they could play at this level all season. But it gives you confidence when you know you have the capability of playing like this, absent also one of your two best players. So this was an impressive performance against a team in the Wizards who have been playing, for the most part, pretty good basketball. So they came out and made a statement, and they will get confidence from this. But, there's still a long season ahead in an Eastern Conference that's only going to get tougher. It's going to be a challenge for this group to see if they can work themselves out of it, especially with that big cloud hanging over the franchise right now in terms of what direction they're going to head in.
I'll get to that in just 1 second, but I do think one thing that needs to be pointed out, Brooklyn's defense has been terrible all season. I mean, they hold Washington 86 points, 36% shooting. Teams are shooting 41% from three against Brooklyn. The Wizards only shoot 23% in this game. So something has to be said about that defense really stepping up in this game.
He was. And, I know it's just one game, a small sample, but at least you can try to build on this. At least you're going home and you're talking about, everything off the court, but you're also talking about and having some smiles about what happened on the court. Also, Cam Thomas hadn't played a few minutes. He gets 31 minutes tonight. He gets 17 points. He's been obviously asking to play more. He's tweeted some things, but he got his chance and he proved. He played well. I mean, 6 for 13. You look at a season where a team is 3-6 and he hadn't only played 17 minutes the entire year thus far, and he has 31 minutes. So he was a plus 36 plus minus.
He had the highest plus minus on the team.
Highest plus minus. So him and his agent can say, nah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be shots ahead with, like you said, Kyrie Irving not there. He began his 5-game suspension on Friday at minimum. That was sanctioned by the team. More news on that front late Friday evening. Nike has suspended its relationship with Kyrie. They've also postponed the launch of Kyrie 8, the shoe, which is a very popular shoe around the NBA. Nike saying there is no place for hate speech and condemns anti-Semitism. So, guys, I mean, this is a story that's not going away anytime soon right now with Kyrie Irving.
It's not. The reality is, too, I just feel like everybody was kind of waiting to see what the narrative was going to be before any actions were taken. And I think everybody needs to look at this situation and figure out how we can all do better. I thought when we saw the 6 fans show up at the game the other night with the anti-Semitism shirts on to make that statement, I thought the next day that we would have a little more certainty and a little more clarity as to how we're going to handle that. And that didn't happen. I think that's a little disappointing from all parties involved. And ultimately, Kyrie's I know he put the statement out, and it's going to take some time for people to digest that and be able to move on. But I do think this is going to be an issue for this organization and for Kyrie for some time to come. There's just no way to get around that. As unfortunate as it is, I don't think that Kyrie Irving is an anti-Semite. I don't think that. But when you do stuff like that and then there's no clarity and you don't qualify it, you leave it out there for others to draw that conclusion. And I think that's a big issue right now for all parties.
And I totally agree with GA. And I think just to add on to that, if a simple, sincere apology, it would have been, it wouldn't have lasted this long and got to this level. I think apology would have definitely helped. But I also think there's so much around, not this situation. When you're playing a game of basketball, no matter how good you are talented, if you have distraction after distraction after distraction after distraction, it affects the product on the floor. It's from the Kyrie situation, it's from the coaching, it's from the general manager, it's from ownership. To GA's point, I think from top to bottom, the Brooklyn Nets organization has to take a look at themselves, how they handle situations.
So 4 games left at minimum for Kyrie. Then there's some more steps that they want him to take. So at this point right now, some time to reflect for Kyrie Irving. We're going to move on. James Harden, not in action, will not be in action for roughly a month. So the Sixers begin life without him. No Joel Embiid in this game either, but they got Tyrese Maxey.
Well, I can tell you the young fella said, no James,
More shots for me?
no Embiid. I would get 31 on basically 30 shots.
Yeah.
And I like the young fella. He came out aggressive. They needed somebody. They also need Tobias to be more aggressive as well. And I like Tobias. He's not a volume shooter, GA, in my opinion, as far as his personality. But I think he's going to have to be just a little bit more aggressive.
I agree. And you know what? Give the Knicks some credit. You know, R.J. Barrett got off to a slow start shooting, but he was solid tonight. Randall was good. Jalen Brunson continues to play at a very high level for this group. And they're getting great production off their bench. I think that's something that's going to speak volumes for this team as they move forward. I mean, Obi Toppin is really coming into his own. Cam Reddish, what a pleasant surprise with the impact he's had. So it's you got to feel good about the Knicks. They're also the way they play, Smitty. Like, they play well together. They understand what they have to do to have success out on the floor.